On December 1st, Liverpool won 4-1 at Goodison Park, ensuring Jurgen Klopp is undefeated at Everton Stadium. And also quite remarkably, signaling the first time in which Liverpool have actually won more Merseyside derbies at Goodison Park than Everton have. With how well they've been playing, third place looks a bit lower than perhaps Liverpool should be in the Premier League. They've only lost one match across all competitions. But if their dominance in the Champions League is anything to go off of, then they're back to being close to the top of the European pyramid after last season's stumbles. Hey there, I'm Adrian, and today we'll be looking at Liverpool. I feel like they've fallen off of people's radar a bit when it comes to the top teams in Europe at the moment, so I decided to look into the stats comparing them to Europe's elite, and well, let's just get into it really. If you find yourself enjoying the content during this video and you're new around here, consider subscribing. Just be open to the idea of that. Let it marinate. I won't force you into anything you don't want to do, alright? Let's go. When it comes to completed passes heading into the final third, Liverpool rank third in Europe, behind just Man City and PSG. Pointing to how they like to move the pitch vertically, their progressive passing stats, passes heading in the direction of their opponent's goal, also ranks third in Europe, behind Bayern and again PSG. Overall, their pass completion percentage isn't anything to write home about, whether you are talking about short, medium, or long-range passes, which a lot of this could be down to the fact that Liverpool likes to attack quickly and takes risks with their through balls to unlock the likes of Jota, Salah, and Mane. One of my assumptions would be that Liverpool would rank higher when it comes to their dribbling stats, but they rank bang average when it comes to dribbles attempted, somewhere in the middle of the pack when looking at the top 5 leagues combined. And they also rank low for their dribble success rate, which did surprise me a little bit. Even distance covered while carrying the ball didn't rank very high, but where Liverpool do rank high, when it comes to carries at least, is in carries into the penalty area. This is where the front three and the fullbacks rack up the carries for Liverpool, but they still sit in third behind Real Madrid and City. With this attacking style of play, coupled with how often and how far forward Liverpool's fullbacks get, they create plenty of opportunities for themselves, which is why Liverpool lead Europe with the most assists with 34, ahead of Bayern by 2 and Real Madrid by a long shot by 7. Liverpool's goal-creating actions per 90, mostly from their passing around their opponent's box and their dribbles into it as well, is the highest in Europe at 5.07. As for shot-creating actions per 90 minutes, they're just behind Bayern Munich. In fact, Bayern and Liverpool are competing for a lot of the top honors when it comes to chance creation and shooting Europe-wide. Goals scored, Liverpool is in first, Bayern in second. Shots attempted, Liverpool first, Bayern second. Goals per shot on target, Liverpool first, Milan second. And with just one penalty this season from 14 matches, Liverpool have the highest non-penalty expected goals in all of Europe, ahead of both Bayern and City. Compared to last season, well, just to see how far down they were, or alternatively how high they have climbed since, Liverpool were ranked 38th in goal creating actions per 90 and 10th for shot creating actions across the top 5 leagues. They were ranked 9th for expected goals, 16th for goals scored, 54th for goals per shot on target. I mean, the void between last season and at least at this point in this season is massive. When it comes to defensive statistics, given Liverpool typically has more of the ball than their opponent with an average possession of 62.8%, that's 5th in Europe by the way, their defensive actions don't stand out too much, and they aren't as airtight as they were in the past, as their defensive record of 12 goals against is the 10th best in Europe currently, which again, they make up for with the best attacking record in Europe. They can, however, boast that they haven't conceded a single goal or even a shot on target, thanks to mistakes at the back, which highlights a big improvement back there when it comes to how they have been organized with the return of Virgil van Dijk. Speaking of which, how have they found themselves to be back in fantastic form once again? Let's talk about that. Back in 2020, fresh off of winning the Premier League for the first time in 30 years, Liverpool had all of their senior centre-backs wiped out with season-ending injuries, close to, for Matip as well, Gomez, Van Dijk, Matip, all of them gone, and what a problem that would cause for the entire squad. With their center backs taken out, Fabinho was pulled from midfield to play as a center back, sometimes Henderson was as well. This caused a weakness in midfield and exposed how Liverpool don't really have anyone to take Fabinho's place when he's absent or playing in the back line. The weakening of the defensive line caused a weakening of the midfield, and overall, Liverpool felt unbalanced and like they were struggling to get anywhere close to their best. There was a ripple effect those injuries caused. With Van Dijk back in there now, alongside Matip, and some depth added via Konate, the defensive solidity is back, and that ensures players like Fabinho are playing in their proper position, which leads to the other midfielders like Henderson and Thiago, who can get more involved further up the pitch. Thiago in particular, it feels like we've finally seen the Thiago we used to know. Through his own lengthy injuries and having to play a bit deeper last season with Fabinho in the back line, he has started to thrive. But the midfield, which of course was looted for players last season out of necessity to the back line, isn't the only position that has benefit from the return of Matip and Van Dijk and all the senior center backs, as that experienced backbone, how they organize the back line, and having Fabinho ahead of them gives more license to Alexander-Arnold and Robertson to get forward. Yes, it hurt their backline in general with the numerous center back changes that Liverpool had to make and the crazy amount of center back combinations they had, but I think it's also fair to say that last season was quite simply just a dip in form for Alexander-Arnold in particular. But now, he's back and something close to his best, as he already has 9 assists from 15 appearances across all competitions this season, which is quite an absurd number for a fullback. One of the hallmarks of prime Klopp Liverpool was just how well the front three worked together. Salah, Firmino, and Mane quickly became one of the most exciting and effective attacking trios in the world. Intricate passing and combinations, the pace to hurt you by running in behind or on the counter, and brilliant fullbacks whipping in dangerous balls for them to feast upon. Well, that died off a bit in the last season or so, thanks in part to injuries and in other parts to the loss of form for Mane and Firmino in particular, and Salah at times as well. Let's not hide from the fact that he went out of form as well. But so far, at least, that's the thing of the past for 2021-22, as Liverpool, the attack is back to their swashbuckling best. But with a twist. Diogo Jota in place of Roberto Firmino in the attacking triumvirate of Salah, Mane, and Jota. If last season was a test drive with the Portuguese attacker, then the promising signs that were shown prior to his lengthy injury last season have been delivered upon. Though he showed signs of it at Wolves, Jota looks like a different animal when he's in the box at Liverpool. His somewhat surprising aerial ability, coupled with his ability to sniff out chances and get on the end of cutbacks and crosses, speak for themselves. His non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes puts him in the top 2% for forwards across Europe's top 5 leagues. He's also in the 95th percentile when it comes to pressures per 90, so he's adapted to the Klopp school of football well, and he can create chances for himself. Look at that goal he scored against Everton. Sadio Mane was one of Liverpool's most important attackers 2 seasons ago, but frustrated throughout last season. He's improved for the 21-22 edition, getting closer to his best in comparison to 2021. His combination play down the left with Robertson has ensured that he is in the 99th percentile, the top 1% of attacking midfielders and wingers when it comes to progressive passes, which follows the trend of Liverpool's approach as a whole, which sees them play plenty of vertical passes. Speaking of which, before we get to the man who is in almost unprecedented form, we gotta give love to the midfield as well. It's only been a recent development, but Thiago Alcantara has started to settle in quite nicely. And anyone who saw his work from Barcelona or Bayern Munich will know just how dominant he can be and how smooth he can be on the ball. We saw it against Porto, and we saw it again against Southampton and Everton. The potential in the midfield is ludicrous with him in there, and respect to Gini Wijnaldum, as they're different players of course, but with Fabinho behind him, Thiago brings far more to this midfield. And then there's the piece that pulls it all together and tops it all off simultaneously. Mohamed Salah. Per 90, he's in the 99th percentile across Europe when it comes to goals, shots on target, expected goals, pressures in the final third, touches in the penalty area, and progressive passes. Some other highlights: 98th percentile for goal-creating actions via dribbling, no surprise there, and 91st percentile for carries into the penalty area. He's been incredible. He's back to something reminiscent of his best, or perhaps even better. 1/3 or 36.8% of the way through the season, and Salah has scored 13 goals from 14 Premier League matches. During his record-breaking 2017-18 season, Salah had 12 goals from 14 matches. Not an incredible improvement, but the potential is absolutely there for him to have a career best season. In all, he scored 19 and 19 with 7 assists. When it comes down to it, Salah's form never really fell off of a cliff. Last season saw him score 31 goals across all competitions, which was an improvement over the 23 he had scored during Liverpool's Premier League winning campaign. But it's not just the numbers, it's the kind of goals that Salah is scoring again. Mazy runs with a pinpoint strike just inside the far post, one-on-one with the keeper before rolling it slowly into the corner, scooping it over him, or arriving late to smash in a cutback. It's all very first season Salah. And with the numbers backing up the performances, both for Salah and for the team in general, you can't help but feel that Liverpool are back to being a top 3 club in Europe at the moment. Both the potency in the attack and the defensive solidity have returned to Klopp's side. And we'll see if they can keep it up. Why? Because January will bring a challenge as both Mane and Salah will leave for the African Cup of Nations. And so we'll see if Firmino, Jota, Minamino, etc. can deliver in their stead. We'll see. Let me know what you think of Liverpool this season. Do you rate them as highly as their attacking stats would suggest? Regardless, I thank you for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao!